It's on Bruiser, right? Or are you doing it on your?
No, dude. It's a personal one. You can reshare it for Bruiser, right?
Yeah. And I can download.
Okay. You want to tag yourself, Mike? You're it. It actually asked us that on the screen. My producer, can you look at that?
Angel, what's up? Wow, this guy's on
Angel,
already.
Matt's here.
Man, the thing didn't even get a chance to start up.
Yeah. Scott Craven. Yeah, man. Angel. Hardest working man in the business. What's up, Scott? We'll let a couple people join here, then we'll talk rigging. What's up, Kaylin?
I can barely read that.
You can see it? I can see
Barely.
it. Mr. Sanchez. He's been banging them lately, man.
Nice
that guy-
fish, dude.
Does that
Congrats
guy-
on the PB.
Does that guy work, or maybe
Works on
not?
catching big fish
He-
lately.
That he does. I'm jealous.
Got some nice ones, man.
Oh yeah.
9 out of 10.
He's stroking them.
Good job.
Frank Russell Mitchin from the mid. Bill Williams. Now our Central Florida guys are coming in. Dave Anderson. Oh, sorry, David Meadows. What's up, Frank? Yes, sir. Let's do it. Laugh out loud. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Today, let me back up just a tad. Steve here with Bruiser Bass Addiction. Thanks for joining, Dennis. Mike, Mr. Salesman of the Year here, and does a lot of our social media stuff. He gets asked all the time about this stuff. I get asked all the time about this stuff, constantly. And I know some of our staffers get asked about too, and they have their own rigging techniques, but we're going to go over maybe the most common today.
Yeah.
So
basically, we're doing the Big Nasty and the Speed Spade today.
Right.
A lot of rigging options for that, for those baits.
right, for these two baits, a lot of different ways to rig these baits, but we're going to go over maybe the most simple, the most fundamental ones, the ones that Mike and I use. And I know there's different variations of this, but we'll go over the ones that we have right now. The first and foremost, the one I use on the SS is a floating. I'm gonna go start at the peg. So you have the flat out tungsten, or the pro peg, if you will. I start with a peg. This is on fluorocarbon. I use mostly a 1/8 ounce. Okay, so I have the football peg, the 1/8 ounce, and I leave this loose. Let that dangle there. I have it on a Mustad wide gap worm hook. This one happens to be, I think this is a number 3. You can use number 4 as well. Make sure you come down, and this is crucial here to the way that this runs. Come down on the seam top of the SS. Come down on the seam about a 1/2 inch. Go in flush, come out on the seam. The seam is the mold. You'll have a line where the mold is put together, and there's a ridge of plastic there. So this is come in just like any other Texas rig. Come in, go up, past the keeper. The Mustad has a great keeper right there, and that's crucial. Give it a little bit of a bend and find the seam again. This is crucial for it to run very straight. Now, some people run it with the tail up. The SS runs great up or down.
Yep, either way.
I actually run it up most of the time. Some people run it down. I put a little bend in it. Make sure you hit the seam. And depending on what line you throw it with, I usually bring it to the top. I don't even skin hook it because I'm usually dragging it through debris of some sort. And then here's the crucial part. Pull your football peg down, but don't squeeze it down all the way. I never want to pinch it like this. It's too solid right there. I like to let it float just a tad, ever so slightly. And there you have a nice silhouetted, weighted, like I said, 1/8 ounce flat out on the top of that SS. This is what I throw probably 90% of the time. That exact rig right there. 3 or 4 odd hook. And Mike, you were saying the higher. You can even throw a worm hook in it too. Some of those guys have worm hooks. You said the deeper this is, the more it drafts and stays steady in the water.
Yeah, when you're using a weight, you can get away with a lot more hook variations. It's going to be stabilized just like it would be on a swim bait or something. It'll stabilize it a lot better. We'll get into some of the weightless options,
right?
Because that's where you got to be a little bit more particular.
This is the fail, and always test it in the water. Always run it in the water real quick. Make sure it's burning nicely. If you put it in wrong, one way or left or right, it'll let you know. So, but if you have it perfectly straight, you're going to be solid. That's the #1 way I rig it. Now, coming very soon, once we get a bunch of these to offer everyone, we have the flat out version, no paint, coming very soon, screw lock. Exact same principle. Go in a 1/2 inch. This happens to be a 3/0 worm hook, must add. Couple turns. I leave it a little bit loose. Bring the pro peg down. Everything you see here you can get on the website, bassetAddictionGear.com, and then hook it. Same exact rig. This is actually tail down. Okay. And make sure you follow the line, the inseam line. That's what you want. Okay? Okay, now, that is variation 2. Once again, this is the Bass Addiction Gear / flat out screw flat tungsten weight. That's coming very, very soon. We'll be unveiling that at ICAST, actually. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's that, bud?
Cool, watching ourselves.
Oh, you're watching us live.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah. You're famous. You just I don't know if you know it or not, but be ready.
We're live.
We're live. Live action. Okay, now the big nasty.
We're live.
What's that? What do you mean? What's that mean?
I didn't realize we were live.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk big nasty.
Go for it.
Okay? Live action. Big nasty. Texas rig. What? Most, probably? Most
people.
common.
Yep.
Most people are going to throw the big nasty with the Texas rig. Now, right here we have 5/16, the worm version, 5/16, with the bobber stop, the pro peg, football peg, 5/16. A lot of worm draggers out there. And this is the grip pin 5/0, perfect slot, holds that worm perfectly. I mean, depending on what line, throw it on braid, throw it on fluorocarbon, 20-pound fluorocarbon, you got a little more stretch. I bury it, I silhouette it just like that. Talked to Bottom Line Mike about this, Mike Lindell. This is the one he uses. He's never had an issue with it yet. Really, really likes it.
The key on when you use a weighted, any kind of weighted rig on here is really, it's a balancing act. The bigger, the heavier the weight you use, you can get away with different hook sizes because that weight's going to stabilize it. If you go down on a small hook, like I've used an 1/8 ounce flat out tungsten on there with literally with a 2/0 or 3/0 hook. In that case though, you want to hook this, the hook has to be further back in the body because that's going to stabilize it and balance it better. Otherwise you're going to get a lot of spin on that. So you got to kind of play with the, you know, depending on what size hook you like to use, what size weight you're using for the cover, you want to get those combinations correct, get that balance right so it flutters and falls straight without twisting. Otherwise you're going to get a lot of line twist.
With the 5/16 or above, you should be somewhat safe on just going in a 1/2 inch and then coming out. That's going to look really good. Now, this pocket back here, perfect for the old glass rattle. Now this is a smaller one, but I've put some giant ones in there and squeezed it in nice, and that thing puffs out and it actually looks like another knot. But they can hear that thing shaking down below.
Yep. And that rattle can make a big difference sometimes. A lot of you guys use them, so
yeah,
you know what we're talking about.
Amen. Now, this is the weighted version. You can obviously, you can put it on a football head. You can put it on a bunch of different stuff. Put it on jig. You know, I'm going over the weighted stuff right now. So that's the big nasty weighted. Probably the most common way it's going to be rigged. Mike is going to go so. Oh, speaking of.
Save that. You can save that.
What's that?
We'll do this.
Okay, so
Hit up that.
let's talk about I got the weighted version down. Mike's going to talk about some of the...
Well, actually, yeah, let me see that for the weighted.
Do you want to use this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that? Oh, here it is. All right. Now, to do this weightless, he just went over the weighted stuff.
Right.
Weightless, this worm gets a little more tricky because you're going to deal with a lot of line twist if you don't get this right. Some of the hooks that you can use on this, one would be Owner 7/0 worm hook, which is what's on here. It's a great hook because it's a long and elongated hook. It's not as short as your standard wide gaps and stuff like that. So when you rig this, you want to rig this one back a little further than usual, than if you were going to Texas rig it, because you're going to get that balance a little bit further back in the body, so that when you swim it, it'll stay straight and it'll still get, just like a swim bait, a little bit of shimmy to it, but it won't twist, and you're not going to get all the line twist on
So
it.
just changing the fulcrum of the weight of the bait.
Right, and
Gotcha.
you just got to be careful. You're not going to really be burning this thing because you're going to get a lot of line twist. Just it's the nature of a bait that's long like this and real heavy. But you can get it to swim just the subsurface if you use the right hook. You can also use, we got this hook on here on the Speed Spade, is the Mustad 6/0 swim bait hook, and that will work as well. But again, you want to rig that back a little further in the body, not just go down to the, where you would normally go to the bend of the hook to Texas rig it. Rig it back a little bit further. You're going to have a little bit more play at the end of the nose there, but it's going to keep it stabilized. The
That's
other
almost
thing,
an inch down.
right, and
Yep.
the other thing that's crucial, which we have here rigged on another Speed Spade, is, and a lot of you guys are not aware we have these yet, is the Bruiser bullets. If you put one of these on here, you're going to keep that nose from tearing up, and that's crucial because once that nose of that plastic rips a little bit, now the angle where that line enters in here when it's running is going to be offset, and it's going to start causing
it's like a rudder.
and it's going to spin on you right away. So if you use a Bruiser bullet, and these have no weight to them, they're totally weightless, it'll save that nose, and it'll keep that bait running straight a lot longer for you.
Yep.
So those are some of the options as far as weightless on the Big Nasty.
Big Nasty. Okay, gotcha. And then you were going to talk about the different variations of the SS. I mean, because the Bruiser bullet, we make one that's like, this mocks like a 3/16 lead. This one mocks like a what?
16th
like a
ounce.
16th ounce.
8th, yeah.
It's very, very small. There's no weight to them at all, and that's really going to go through. Once again, the bigger the hook, the deeper it runs, the more stable the bait runs too.
Right. So on that note of weightless, for the Speed Spade, if you want to run, well, here we'll start on the top and work our way down. To run it on top, to get it to burn, you can use several. You got a lot of leeway here because these are a little bit bigger bait. On, let's say, a kicking frog, you got to be very precise with the hook, simply because the bait's only so large you can fit. Let's say a 3/0 hook works really well. A bait like this or the Nasty, you can use a 2/0, 3/0, 4/0, 5/0, 6/0. You got room to work with it there because the body's so big. So in a case like this, totally weightless. You got just the Bruiser bullet on here. This is a offset. In this case, you got an Owner wide gap. These you can use 3/0, 4/0, 5/0, and that'll swim that bait real nice subsurface. You keep it very straight, and you'll get a little bit of a shimmy to it and a little bit of swimming action. Again, it's just like you would do it like a regular standard swim bait, like a super swimmer, and that'll keep that going real nice. Or this you can actually burn right on top, and it'll keep it running on top, and it's not going to dig and drag the bait down.
Yep.
You can go up to about maybe a 5/0, and you'll be good without too much weight, because once you get the hook too big on it, it's going to pull it down. It's not going to stay on top and keep that action going.
And when we first made this bait, this tail, when this was up weedless, it blew my mind, because this was bigger than it was supposed to be, but it ended up working. So I can't wait to get this in the tank at iCast. This is going tank diving at the iCast big time. I can't wait to see it.
To use on top, if you prefer a straight shank hook, like I personally prefer a straight shank hook, worm hook, you can do the same thing to burn this on top. 3/0, 4/0, 5/0. Again, Bruiser bullet, weightless, and that'll, in this case, same thing, you're gonna run that back just a little bit further than you would Texas rig it with a weight, and that'll stabilize it, and you can burn that right on top, and that'll also swim just subsurface at a slower pace. Now if you want to swim that fast subsurface, you're going to want to bump up a little bit to this is the 6/0 Mustad swim bait hook.
Yep.
And that you can swim with more speed. You can use some of these other hooks subsurface, but you're going to have to run them a little slower, because otherwise you're going to get that tilt in action.
Right.
But this bait, you get a bigger bait like this, or sorry, bigger hook, and you can swim that subsurface, and it really at high speed, and it's going to keep it nice and straight.
Very good.
The last variation, which I really like to do, is you get your standard offset worm hook. This is just a 3/0 owner.
3/0, yeah.
Now what's different about this hook is because it's not as deep as some of these other hooks, it doesn't run, the fulcrum isn't down lower. This actually keeps the nose up a little bit, and you'll actually get more nose shimmy on this, a little bit more nose swimming action, what I call nose swim, as opposed to just the wobble action.
Yeah,
this will actually give it, because it's trying to hydroplane at the same time, so it'll swim a little bit more. Again, you're not going to do that at high speed, but it's going to definitely give you a little bit more subtle action to that nose. So that's another option.
In this mode, do you prefer the tail up or tail down?
It hasn't really shown much preference. Same thing. You know, it seemed to work either way. I've got it to run.
It's crazy. It's
just keep in mind with any
erratic.
of these rigs, you gotta tinker a little bit, especially when you're doing them weightless, just because of everything's a balancing act.
Correct.
Getting
And it's an 8-inch bait, so I mean.
Right.
You know, the longer you have moving parts, the better the chance to, you know.
But once you dial in the correct combination, the hook and where to place it and stuff, you can get these baits. They run beautiful, and you know, once they're on top, they'll stay on top, and that tail will stay kicking. And once it's swimming subsurface, it'll stay swimming subsurface and track true all the time.
You can actually even feel the load from that tail when you're using like 15-pound test or lower. You can feel the load in a good rod.
Yep.
And we, you know, so anyway. This, I know you don't want to show this, but
We'll show it.
you show it.
Another option, there might be
Hardcore.
guys out there already doing it,
Yeah, probably so.
is swim jig. Throwing it on a swim jig.
That's a 3/8, right?
And this one's a 3/8. And a lot of guys think, you know, that's too big, short strikes. Majority of the time, these fish hit this, they're coming at it, they're hitting the head, just like they would any bait.
Yep.
So if they're short striking, maybe you bite it an inch off.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
shorten it up a little bit. But if they're wanting that style of bait and that presentation, they're going to eat it and they're going to get it head first. And the other thing you can do with this is I take a skirt off a vibrating jig, and you can use it with or without the skirt. But even without a skirt, I just stick this on the back of a vibrating jig head.
A big profile.
And that
there.
gets, between that tail and the vibrating, you know,
Yeah, tons of action.
yeah, works great.
Excellent. So those are just some of the variations that we use. I mean, just some. You don't have. You're done, right? You don't have any. The only other thing we were gonna.
Yeah, for weightless, like I said, it's a lot of. And one other thing I'll mention is when even if you rig with the right hooks and you're still getting a little bit of tilt in action, it's kind of no different again than a swim bait. Sometimes what you're gonna need to do is that hook point is you may have to take it out and put it a little bit to the left. If it's running this way, the bait's tilting this way, you tilt that hook and put it in. Expose it to the opposite side, and that'll straighten it out, and that'll make it run straight.
Right. Follow your line is key. The first and foremost. That's the biggest part. Follow your line. You follow the line from the tip of the where your hook goes in to where it comes back through. You should be good.
You know what? One more thing, and we didn't bring a hook, unfortunately. I didn't think about this, but another thing I was doing this spring is throw this wacky rig, weightless wacky rig.
Yep.
When you twitch that thing, you put your O-ring if you want, whatever. So now you got that, just like you would a stick worm or a trick worm type bait, a diamond tail. You're gonna get that, twitching action.
Flex, yeah.
But now you got that tail also kicks.
Yep.
And I caught a lot of fish doing that, and I kind of didn't want to say
you
much
didn't tell
about
me.
that. But yeah,
I didn't hear about that.
Cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, cat's
and the bass
out of
is in the bag.
The bass. Oh, well, son, I guess so. Now, one last thing. Do not forget about the Carolina riggers that are out there. Those who like to throw the Carolina rig. This thing has already caught stuff dragging out on certain, what should we say, Central Florida lakes?
Certain Central Florida lakes.
Kentucky Lake. A little birdie told me about that. So, if you're Carolina rigging, don't forget, hey,
Oh, dude.
the slimline tungsten,
Easy, easy, easy.
Sorry, bud.
Easy. You hooked me.
Sorry, bud. Hey, that's my shirt.
You hook it.
Sorry.
Got it?
Yeah. Sorry, bud. What do you got there, Mike?
Nothing. Why?
Well, you got fluorocarbon in your shirt. I'm talking Carolina rigs.
This is nothing. This is
What is that, an umbrella rig?
This is nothing. It's just.
What's he taking now?
It's nothing. It's. Dang it.
What the? It's a whole mess of baits. That's like.
Sometimes I like to stop when I'm driving. Like I was coming here, I want to stop on the side of the road. I try to fish. I happen to have these on me. I keep them on me.
I thought it was a cast net for
Doesn't
a second.
everybody?
Wait a second. Yeah, but it's a whole slew of them.
Everybody has them. Everybody keeps them on them. You can't be without the nasty.
Right, I get it. That's the little what are red shad
Pre-made
ones,
leader.
man? You took
Pre-made leaders. I just hook them on.
yeah, I guess so. You stick off a tree, doesn't matter. So anyway,
Or umbrella rig. There's your
there's your
great for umbrella rigging.
umbrella rig,
Works
folks.
fantastic.
Yeah, umbrella rig. It's a giant squid swimming through Lake Placid.
The nasty rig.
Oh Lord. Yeah, definitely put the cameras on him. Hey, listen, everybody, we got some cool stuff. We can't wait to get to Placid. No, not Placid. We're going further than Placid. We're going to Orlando, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go to Orlando.
ICAST, baby.
We're going to ICAST. We're going to jump in. We're not going to jump in the tank. Our baits are going to jump in the. Yeah, he might. He might. We're gonna put the baits in the tank. We got a bunch of pros coming, and I got like 6-7 pros that are going to be doing, speeches and talks and telling us our secrets and all that good stuff. It's going to be a great time. So if you're able to just have your ears on, because we're going to do some live action shots from ICAST as well. We're going to throw these. These are for best in show, man. I had a chance to do the flat outs a little bit. Some politics involved with the flat outs right now with the patent pending status. And the fact that we were the first in selling them for a couple of years, that kind of hurt us at ICAST. But either way, we're patient. But these baits were new, and we're gonna send it in. We're gonna put them in the tank for all to see. I can't wait to see what they. I can't wait to see. We already know they work, and you anglers know they work. I can't wait to see. Some of the pros get a hold of them, swim through the tank, get some photographs of them, get them on video.
I mean, we've had, some of you haven't seen on social media, we've had already 10-pound fish, legit 10-pound fish, photos taken, guides getting their clients on them, big fish caught on these baits already.
Yeah, and some guys will put them. We've already noticed that some guys will actually put them. They'll video them and they won't say nothing, but. We got people out there looking. A lot of people are doing that. Yeah, we got people out there looking, so we can tell when it's a big nasty. It's all good, man. We love it. We can tell when the big nasty is part of the main player in the show. Yeah, sure. Exactly. So anyway, thanks for joining, guys. A couple rigging techniques. You can reach out to us and ask us if you have other rigging techniques or a question about it. Let us know. We'll get you set up on it. We can actually walk you through, and if you guys have a different rigging technique that we're not showing right now, let us know. I know there's more out there. I've actually heard it being talked about. I know they're out there. Please let us know. Give us some feedback. We want you to catch fish on these baits, just like everybody else has. So, anyway, Mike, you got anything else up your sleeve?
I just want to let you know.
Anything else?
Was it 3733 our booth?
3733.
Yeah, come out and see us. We'll be booth 3733. We look forward to seeing a lot of you guys out there.
Yeah, 20 foot. We're gonna be slam busy, but that's how we roll. So anyway, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Come see us at ICAST on behalf of, I don't know, man. Yeah, on behalf of Mike, my producer Hannah. Yeah, here, you want that one too?
Sure.
Yeah, just take them all. Just easy now. I think these are on the website, so we'll take the hooks away from Mike. Here, you missing something? And Steve Dial, thanks for watching. ICAST, we'll see you guys.
We'll see you.